And you're tuning into the Black Fire Radio. And you listen. Yes, massive wagwan. Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, there. Reaching out to all the massive on the African continent. And you're tuning into the Pan-African Bliss Show with your host, none other than Joby, from Monday to Friday. Stay
Sifanyi kiki tena nasikia sina nazo kisawewe mama wananiita playboy heartbreaker mada kitendo nasema wenye mimi hata kama na watania wananiita playboy heartbreaker mada kitendo nasema wenye mimi hata kama na watania baby mi so cheza kama mtoto hata chakula kukonoshi kama mashine na mpatango mana angaga kwa wanamaki wananiita kitendo wenye mimi hata kama na watani wananiita playboy heartbreaker baada kitendo nasema wenye mimi hata kama na watania baby mi so cheza
Karibuni sana to another beautiful conversation right here on the media of the 21st century. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope you're having a wonderful week so far. Karibuni sana to where yet we get to talk about another beautiful, interesting conversation coming from the African continent. And of course, the majority of the times, it's never positive, but we shall try keep it as positive as it shall be today, as regarding what we shall be talking about today. Karibuni sana to everyone who's on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok. Welcome on Rumble, on our show page, and on the radio station. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And my name is Joby. In case you're here for the first time, I'd love to urge you to subscribe, follow us on whatever platform you're streaming live with us from, and also download our app, which is very easy to find. If you are an Android user, on the Google Play Store, search for Black Hotfire Network, which is actually through the website. It takes you through the app, it takes you to the website, and the website takes you to all our platforms, and you stay connected. Karibuni once again. And of course, today we shall be talking about Nigeria. And that is the ex-president of Nigeria. I've shared his video some time back. I believe that was actually at the beginning of this year. And he did give some few positive remarks when you talk about the poor African leadership and the consequences it has. I think on the first video of him I shared, he was talking about the African leaders where they need to be very, very, very conscious because the youth are getting tired. And that is, he was talking about revolution. He's actually in Kenya. He arrived yesterday, and he was interviewed on one of our mainstream medias right here. And some of the question posed to him is his thoughts regarding what Kenyans right now are doing, what effect it has to the rest of the African continent, especially his country, Nigeria, being the most populated country in Africa. What effect does this have in Nigeria or the African continent? He also talks about the democracy, the British type of system of democracy that we have. And literally, this is Africa as a continent. Each country we know, regarding who colonized us or regarding who colonized who, we have been left some systems or laws that we follow that do not have anything, like Tom Boyer said, any African culture, any African tradition, nothing to do with African people. And he talks about how this needs to be revisited. He talks about also independency. And I'll be sharing also part of his history regarding his leadership. So for me, according to what I figured out about, his name is Olusegun Obasanjo. He came in, he was a chief, he was actually a chief who was leading Nigeria. That was, he took over, I think, Naku. I'll be sharing much more of his history. And this is actually, most of us do not know about his history because Nigeria has had so many presidents. And I also want to check on Google who has been the longest serving president in Nigeria. And apparently Olusegun Obasanjo, who is the main topic of the day, he did serve 8 years. He's one among the longest the leaders who did serve in a longest continuous term. And we also had Muhammad Buhari, who also took 8 years. And we remember Muhammad Buhari before Tinubu, when he left the country, when he was actually resigning on the presidential seat, he said that he has left the country more transformed than it was 15 years ago. And that is, I think, after him taking after Olusegun Obasanjo. And if you try to look at Nigeria today, it's not doing any better. We also had Yabuku Gowon, who also served for 8 years. And then we also had Ibrahim Babangida. Yeah. So I'll be discussing about specifically Olusegun Obasanjo and his legacy, because I'm trying to check, and I tried to check on YouTube any videos of Nigerians complaining during that time under his leadership, and I've not seen any videos. But regarding the video I'll be sharing, they talk about where he was found with so many incidents of corruption, and the evidences were never found. So I feel like, for me, it's giving me a Kagame vibe, where he did a few things to try make Nigeria work, but on this other end is also serving the master. And that is what we can see actually today that Rwanda has been able to do, Shout out to them. Wow. Shout out to them. So I don't know who the heck is that with the biggest speaker in the world. But yeah, that is what is happening, and that is what we shall be talking about. And of course, welcome to the conversation of the day. Back to the music. That was Otile Brown. I started with this jam, and I'll be getting back to one more as we come back. This is TikTok KO featuring Darasa. Hope you guys get to enjoy.
Mama pumzi na kata kata kanipiga bupa atamani mama akikaba ulivoa kushina takuya Mungu funikwa na kuma napendeza tukisuka shuruma umenipiga KO hiyo makeup KO umenipiga KO knockout nele KO it was for the diction Ladies, watoto kali mnajijua, sila mwanamke kuringa taka kona step. Ladies, watoto kali mnajijua kama umevaa umependeza, taka kuna shit, so long hair, pretty baby face, lips kiss, red white text, police, hata kupewa kiss, akikuangalia tu unaweza kutoa kadi ya bei, macho vya kusinzia zile kuibia, tasema kala kitu alafu kimemzidia, kama inataka kupanda mizuka gajia chia, sarakasi misamba mateke ya Cynthia, chembe Korea naze, shikiki msichana, kakumwaga raza, anacheza kainama, kutika inuka kasimama, nguo fupe kinanona kama inabana, kipochi chini kamechi na viatu, msala niyo kala na kipiga cha kibanto, kisema kakati za tani atachanganya watu, she smart, she pretty and she do what she want to, ukikompea wao na kwa tofauti.
Darasa Otile Brown is a knockout team. Boom. Yes, and my quote of today is you cannot buy the revolution. You cannot make the revolution. You can only be the revolution. It is in your spirit or it is nowhere. Literally. And I think I've said that some time back last year. I said the only time we're going to see Africans reacting is when they're full of rage of the history you've been denied, full of rage of the lies you've been fed, full of rage of the continuous corruption and nepotism that is very active in our continent. So I feel like that is basically what it says. You cannot buy the revolution. You cannot make revolution. You can only be the revolution. It is in your spirit and or it is nowhere. And again, it starts also with your mind. Revolution starts with your mindset. If you cannot change your mindset, the way you think, the way you reason, the way you view things, try challenge yourself. You're forever gonna be stuck, and that's one thing personally I'm always super grateful for, always stepping outside, beyond the box, not just sticking with the normal and trying to do extra and the unimaginable. But anyway, karibuni sana, like I said, today we shall be focusing on the ex-president of Nigeria who has, taken his trip right here in the 244, and he has come to address the matters of the youth. And of course, he's involved with some people who are our enemies. Even during his time, he was involved with the British system. And I'll be sharing, of course, part of his history, where it is very well broken down by this lady. But of course, some of it has, some of the truth also comes with the lies. Of course, majority of the people are looking for the YouTube numbers. But I'll be sharing that because I feel like it's giving me the Kagame vibe, why he tried so hard to show the Nigerians he was trying to do the best, because he was trying to get rid of the banks. He was trying to literally nationalize the oil. He tried to do a couple of positive things, but it was just to blind the people somehow. It's just giving the Kagame vibe, but we shall be getting that in a minute. Before we get to move on, I want to talk about Uganda. And yesterday, if you guys, for those who are here with us and to those who catch the show on replay, and to those who shall catch the show on replay, we discussed about a Tanzanian who was arrested. That is for banning the Tanzanian president Samia Suluhu picture, and he was also accused of using vulgar words, which he ended up, of course, admitting in the court. And the Tanzanian, shout out to them, they unified and contributed the needed amount of money and bailed this man out. On the other end, we also saw Equatorial Guinea. The president as well had actually jailed a pastor for 2 years. That is after the pastor refused to apologize for using the same vulgar words being told towards the president, where he said that the president has kept his people as prisoners. And we checked down the history. We know that Equatorial Guinea president has been in power for the last literally over a couple of decades, that is since 1979. And we're talking about the Museveni type of bullshit. So that is what actually is happening also in Uganda. So Uganda, the Ugandan court has sentenced a 24-year-old man to 6 years. I tell you, Uganda is brutal. Uganda is brutal. When other countries are serving you 2 terms, if you can't actually get yourself out on a cash bail or the bond, whatever is required, Uganda is actually, you're going to be, in these other countries, you can see Tanzania is 2 years of jail if you can't actually pay out whatever amount is needed. And also Equatorial Guinea, it was 2 years because the pastor served 2 years because he refused to apologize. But Uganda, god damn, Uganda court has sentenced a 24-year-old man to 6 years in prison for insulting the president and the first family through his video posted on TikTok. And he goes by the name Edward Awebwa, and he was charged with the hate speech and spreading misleading and malicious information against President Yoweri Museveni. The First Lady, Janet Museveni, the son, Mukohozi, that is, of course, Captain Crunch, who is the head of the military. The court also had that Aweba had shared abusive information saying there would be an increase in taxes under President Museveni. So I think where there is a smoke, there is fire. And we remember that actually when Kenyans were rejecting the financial bill 2024, Tanzanians did pass their financial bill 2024. And this is where I came to realize it's the agenda where we can see the Agenda 2030, the New World Order. So I believe every African country, from what you can cope from this, every African country is required to sign these demanded bills into their country, because majority of these countries are on debt. So it is mandatory for all these puppets who have been taking loans to sign these bills as a form of them repaying back. If not, they're coming for the lands. So they add that, let me read that again. Damn, so, okay, I feel for Ugandans. So I think we should hear more from Maria if there is any possibility of them also having any hash bill, because it is supposed to be making the majority of Africans' lives very devastating. But yeah, they're saying that that will be an increase in taxes under President Museveni. That is why he was arrested, where that is what he was saying. And he had pleaded guilty and asked for forgiveness. Why are you asking for forgiveness? It is so crazy. Again, like we were saying yesterday, this is your freedom of expression. You have the right to call out on bad leadership. And that is what Ugandans have been experiencing for the past years. Not even few. It's not few. It's been decades of dictatorship under Museveni. You have the right to call on that, but sadly, that is the type of fear they've been pushing towards Africans for the longest time, where you can't question anything at all. You're supposed to. Feel free to. But they're also saying that the presiding magistrate said that while he had pleaded for mercy, he did not look remorseful for his actions, and the words used in the video really vulgar. The accused deserve a punishment which will enable him to learn from his past, so that next time he will respect the person of the president and the first lady and the first son. God damn, that is what the magistrate said. He was also sentenced to 6 years for each of the 4 charges against him, which are to run concurrently. And the rights group regularly denounced Uganda authorities for violations of human rights and freedom of expression. Exactly, that is what I'm talking about. And this comes in 2022 after an award-winning Uganda author, Kamakwezi, who was charged with 2 counts of offensive communication after making unflattering remarks about the president and his son on Twitter. He fled the country to Germany after spending a month in jail, where he claimed he had been tortured. Activist writer Stella Nyakazi, who is also in exile, had earlier been jailed after publishing a poem that was critical against Museveni. President Museveni has been in power since 1986, 14 years before Aweba was born. And in 2022, he signed into law against speech, which rights of groups criticized and saying it was aimed at suppressing freedom of speech online. Last year, the Constitutional Court also ruled that a section of the Act that penalized offensive communication was unconstitutional. Uganda human rights lawyer Michael Oboneka said Aweba had been charged under the same broader law that they are still challenging in court because it is a vague. This is so crazy. So Museveni is literally declaring dictatorship. That is what openly we can see, because if he did pass into law freedom of expression being something wrong, then this is a declaration of dictatorship on your very open eyes. Since 1986, people have been silent. And that is the same thing we can see they are doing together with Kagame. Because we don't see Rwandese talk. All we've been fed is what the mainstream media says about Kagame. But what do the people say? You can only get the truth and the facts from the people. And this is what I'm trying to, as we get into the main conversation of the ex-president of Nigeria, I went deep into, literally, I even went to DuckDuckGo, trying to see what complaints did Nigerians have during Olusegun's Obasanjo leadership. And there's none. But he was accused of a few cases of corruption, working with the British system, but no evidence found. But yet this guy, his profile is full of some positive remarks which he was trying to do for Nigeria. It is so crazy. Shout out to all the African puppets, man. It's how they do it, you know. But in Uganda, or rather in Africa, you should have freedom of expression, especially as journalists. It is sad to see literally majority of journalists are so scared to speak about the truth because you're going to be, somebody is after you. Myself, I'm always like literally very ready. I know I'm being watched, being honest. I know all these devices, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere, they're watching me. So if they want to get me, they're going to come to me. But it's the fact that literally majority of the people cannot talk openly like this. You can't. You can't just go outside there and insult the president. You're going to be arrested. You can't actually express yourself. You know, it's not even an insult. It's you expressing yourself, calling out on bad leadership, calling out on corruption, nepotism. Because he appointed his son as the head of military. And that is after we saw there was actually a possibility of a coup. You remember? So shout out to these African puppets, man. Shout out to Tanzania, Samia Suluhu, the Equatorial Guinea, and now Museveni. I didn't even actually know that Uganda had passed this into law. Freedom of, and this actually, it makes sense why we have people like Maria being arrested. It makes a whole lot of sense. And it makes a whole lot of sense why they're friends with Kagame. It makes sense why Maria was arrested. Makes a whole lot of sense why you're going to see many people silenced. It is so crazy. But, hey, Uganda is brutal. 6 years. Now, this man is going to be in jail for 6 years. After he comes out, he'll have to start all over again. There's not like there's a job waiting for you outside there that they have created for you. That's the craziest part. You know, if you are serving terms in jail and then you come out and you have a job opportunity ready, apparently we don't have such a system. I don't believe it is anywhere in the world. You have to start all over again. But this is coming to an end. If Ibrahim Traore could do it, if the Malian junta can do it, the Niger junta can do it, pardon me, but I really fail to pronounce their names. You know, if they can actually manage to chase away the mainstream medias and people can now talk the truth, because this is why you can see them dealing even with lies. They're trying to get rid of even journalists who try to report lies about what is happening in the country. Like, yo, we need facts. And that is what's long has affected Africa, because we are waiting for the mainstream media to come and report lies. While when people speak the truth, they end up being arrested. If you don't have the money to bail yourself out, you serve 6 years in jail, like in Uganda, just because of insulting the president. Come on. It is crazy, manze. But I kind of feel one thing we always say about Kenya, and that is one thing I'm going to say, I feel like we really have freedom of expression. This is one country we're going to say, and this is why we saw one of these idiots of MPs who voted yes on the financial bill, saying that we are very lucky as a country that we can express ourselves. Because that is what majority of these puppets have done, silence people not to talk. They want us to be in such a space. You're very lucky as a country, you have freedom. Oh my God, I love my country. It's the way they go very raw on the president, nicknames, all that, very open. So I feel like Kenya actually is one of the countries I'd really acknowledge we have freedom of expression. You can see we can make names of Zakayo, the tax collector. I don't believe you can do that to Museveni. I don't believe Museveni has a nickname. I only know of the South African president, the cupcake, he's called a cupcake. But shout out to K. Williams, Karibu Sana. Hope you're doing amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to Unsunken One, Mr. Blackwood Fire. Good morning. John Mosquito, good morning to you too. Hope you're doing great and welcome to the conversation. We're just debating about the similar situation that happened yesterday where we saw a few people being released, actually a pastor being released in Equatorial Guinea after insulting the president and he failed to apologize. So he had to spend 2 years in jail. In Tanzania, we saw a man burnt the picture of Samia Suluhu and he had to be released on a cash bail of $2,000. That is after Tanzanians actually contributed this amount of money. In Uganda, a man has been jailed for 6 years because of actually trying to go after the president. And it's not going after, it's just calling out on what is really, really happening in this particular country. But as we get to move on, of course, I'm getting straight to the video of the day about this Nigerian president. So I'm going to start. Of course, this is going to piss some of you because of his slow talking. I couldn't also take it, but I've shared this video some time back. That was, I believe, at the beginning of this year or last year. And he spoke some facts regarding revolution. He actually warned African leaders. And if you check majority of his video, he's been talking and warning African leaders to change their ways of leadership because the youths are getting tired. He is in Kenya. And he was hosted yesterday in one of the mainstream medias. And some of the question posed to him is what are his thoughts regarding what is happening in Kenya, the effect it has in Nigeria, and the rest of the African continent. So pay attention. And then after this, shout out to the disco. After this, we're going to share a video of his leadership. But it's funny how I can't see any negative reports about him. I can't see Nigerians where they demonstrated, complained about his leadership. So pay attention.
Citizen TV. All right, sir. Thanks so much for that. On that note, walking over to the bench to greet my good friend. I've known him for more than 25 years. By the way, he's the only African leader to have been head of state twice in the span of 20 years. First time in 1976. When the former military leader, Murtala Mohammed, was gunned down in the streets of Lagos, the number 2 took over. His name was Olusegun Obasanjo. Ruled for 3 years, gave up power to a civilian government, went away, came back 20 years later, was elected again as a democratically elected president in 1999, served for 2 terms. He's no doubt a legend on the continent. Now,
yeah, from 1999 to 2007.
Known him for this long, and it's good to see you, Baba. Welcome back to Kenya.
Yes, nice to see you again.
He served as president after he came back in 1999 to 2007. He served. He's one among the longest continuous, serving presidents for 8 years. Then we had Muhammad Buhari, who left the country in the worst situation, unlike his words. So listen.
Yeah. Good to see you.
You haven't changed at all.
Your flattery will get you everywhere. So listen, why are you here? Why'd you come?
Yeah, I came in for a youth convention. Mm-hmm. The Kenyan school
is so old, like
of government with the youth bridge, Kenya, to get for send the demo.
You've seen the Gen Z wave sweeping across the continent. You've seen what it's done in Kenya. Can you see it? Is it happening across the continent?
Well, some of us have sounded warning about this. And all over Africa, we are all sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
That is true. All of them, and he's telling them, it's crazy because he's been talking about this for years, and he's been warning the African puppets, the moment the youths are going to unite, you're not going to be able to stop this. You're all sitting, what he said, on a gunpoint.
Because the youth, and there's virtually no exception, in Africa where the youth are not angry. They are unemployed. They are unempowered. And they see nothing other than hopelessness. And in a situation like that, what you have from frustrated youth is anger. And when they have no hope, and if you really want to kill any human being, take hope out of his life.
Yeah.
And that is what is happening.
And they have nothing to lose.
And they have, well, if you have no...
I agree with him, because actually right now I feel like Africans have taken the hope away out of the picture, because that is what for so long has been sold, you know. Just keep on hoping, waiting, we're gonna deliver. But which is gonna say most of the youths again are looking at this, which is what is happening. They look at these leaders, the manifestos they told you, and the actions you're doing, it doesn't add up. I don't have a job, my parents are sick, there's no healthcare provision, which we can see. Ruto, shout out to Ruto has said from the 1st of October, Kenyans shall be receiving free medical healthcare. We're looking forward to see all that, because so far the things he has promised to do, which is eliminating some of the cabinet secretaries, you know, them actually, they should be resigning, those who are above 60. We've not seen that taking effect. Bunch of things he said, I've not seen majority of it being now, you know, taking action. So we're gonna see. The 1st of October, of course, is coming, and that I believe comes after we saw yesterday a woman who gave birth and she was stranded and she couldn't actually be released because the system was not working where they were supposed to proceed their payment. But yeah, I agree with Olusegun Obasanjo when he talks about the anger and when you take away hope from the whole picture, which is what we can see. The hope right now with Africans is finally fading away, and we want actions, no more hoping.
Nothing to gain. You are jobless. You are
Williams.
You are not empowered. You are in poverty. And then you see your leaders, some of them in obscene affluence. Then what do you do? You are a human being, and the resources of your country is provided for that country by God for the benefit of all the citizens of that country.
Absolutely. I remember in 2011 when the Arab Spring was sweeping across North Africa, and then you came to Kenya a couple of years later, and we were talking about that, and then you coined a phrase that I remember all to this day. You said, from the Arab Spring, there'll be an African winter. Is this what's happening?
It's the beginning. And if no adequate attention is paid to the needs of the youth in Africa, the autumn will turn to winter.
It's going to happen, because just as I pause on that, you remember I was sharing, that was last week, a video of the war in Niger, that is at the Delta, the oil war that is going on there. And we can see the people who are protecting their territories, their homes, their lands, their farms, which are being destroyed by these greedy people, including puppets, you know, are being named as terrorists. What is the other term? There's another term. Pirates, gangsters, and all that, you know, they're now part of the gang. While all this, we know that they're literally trying to protect all these oil regions that the white people and these African puppets are stealing and destroying their lands mercilessly without checking or wanting to know the damages caused after that. So we can see actually the rage is there. It's just that the fact that the silencing has been continuously happening. The youths have been, I feel like the youths have been long awake. We've just been waiting for that time for the rage to just come out, and which it is slowly coming out. Because with whatever is happening in West Africa, East Africa, like I said yesterday, we can see the white man is having sleepless nights. But I feel like this is gonna be, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I don't believe even Bola Tinubu is gonna serve for all those years he's supposed to. It's gonna be crazy. I feel like Nigerian is gonna wake up Nigerians, especially with the oil disputes, all that oil war. It's gonna be crazy. Let's continue.
And it'll be ugly.
To be very ugly for all of us.
Tell me something, Mr. President. You seem to be like the peacemaker on the continent. Whenever there's a conflict, you show up. What is it about this democracy or multipartyism that we don't get?
So he is a red flag, number one, because he's one among the people who came and formed the current new AU that we can see Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, they walked away from, because the aim of AU is not what we can see today. When the formation of the first original AU was being, it's not what we can see today, and that is what we saw Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali calling out. The same way they have called out on ECOWAS, because there's nothing ECOWAS is doing for the people. So he's a red flag, because he's going to be posed that question. He's one among the people who helped change or transform the AU to what it is today.
I believe that, of course, when the colonial powers were leaving Africa, as they had to leave.
They never left, though. We know that. They had to leave, but they never left.
They gave us or left us with what they know best. Western liberal democracy. My belief is that we have to rethink Western liberal democracy, because it doesn't seem to be working for us.
It's never.
You see, you have as part of Western liberal democracy what they call loyal opposition. I have looked into most African languages. Opposition is enemy. And what do you do with enemy?
Opposition is enemy. Mm-hmm.
You cannot talk of a loyal enemy. Now, that is what they had, because their liberal democracy emanated from monarchy. And of course, you can be loyal to monarchy. But in our own case, opposition is enemy. And what you do is crush your enemy. And
Baba.
So we have to rethink.
Crash Baba.
Commonality, consensus. These are things that we understand and we practice in traditional African society.
But Mr. President, in your country, in Nigeria, a country of more than 200 million people, democracy seems to be working. You have like two major parties.
Jeff Koinange is such a liar. Jeff Koinange is such a liar. The democracy seems to be. Where in Nigeria have we seen democracy working today? Because this is 2024. This is an interview 14 hours ago. Today in Nigeria, where do we see democracy working? And this is what I'm talking about, the mainstream media journalism again. And that's why I pause it. And I want us to go to now the legacy of Olusegun Obasanjo, his leadership, how he took over, and why I feel like he is a Kagame, or he was a Kagame of the country of Nigeria during his time, because he blindfolded most of the people. Like I said, I can't see any video of Nigerians where they complained, demonstrated about him. No videos, nothing, no complaints about him. But as you can see from majority of the cases, he has been called out on corruption, but no evidence. Nobody can speak about it, but he has been called out on corruption, but I can't see any video or any evidence. So he is a Kagame. If he was really a true Pan-African, which is what they're going to say on this coming video I'm going to share, he tried to practice some Pan-Africanism and all that, he'd be dead right now. That is one thing we know. We'd not see him traveling and coming to Kenya to talk about why he's even being given opportunity to talk about the Kenya transformation. You know, they'll invite scoons to come talk about what needs to be heard. We've not seen a true leader being given the opportunity to come and sit and address the nation the way it's supposed to be. Because if you do so, you're going to end up in jail, like in Uganda. Or you're going to end up being kidnapped. Like we can see what is still happening, because kidnappings are still actually very active in Kenya. Very active. So it is insane. It is insane. But let me share this video very quickly as we get to move on. But you can let me know what are you guys' thoughts and how much you know about Olusegun Obasanjo. What do you know about his leadership? Maybe some few facts you have, share on the comment section. But this is how he Americanized Nigeria. That is what they're calling it.
On October 1st, 1979, General Olusegun Obasanjo handed over power to President Shehu Shagari to usher in Nigeria's Second Republic. It would be the second time Nigeria would be under democratic rule since the military coup of January 15, 1966, that led to the fall of the First Republic. During the First Republic, Nigeria experimented with the British Westminster-style parliamentary system of governance, where the positions of a powerful prime minister and a ceremonial president were created. Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe would hold these positions until the military struck and brought an end to democracy in Nigeria. When in 1979 the opportunity for democracy rose again in Nigeria, the head of state, General Olusegun Obasanjo, however, ditched the British-style parliamentary system and opted for the American-style presidential system, which ushered in Nigeria's first executive president in Shehu Usman Aliyu Shagari. How Obasanjo did Americanize Nigeria is the subject of this video. Olusegun Obasanjo was born around March 5, 1937 in Ibogun Olaogun, a village in present-day Ogun State. His exact date of birth remains unknown. He attended St. David Ebenezer School in his village before moving on to Baptist Boys High School in Abeokuta. Obasanjo joined the Nigerian Army in 1958, specializing in engineering. He was later assigned to Congo, Britain, and India.
Karibu sana Kate.
Wow, you quick, ain't you? Shit.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Welcome.
You're welcome, Joby.
We're talking about Olusegun Obasanjo, who was a president of Nigeria some time back.
Yeah, he was a corrupt ass puppet.
So it is crazy to see that when you check majority of any, the crazy Nigerians go through, there's none.
You're not gonna find nothing on him because also when that's when the artist who started Afro beats, he was locking up all the time. Fela what's his name? Fela Kuti, whatever his name is, of Nigeria. That guy was constantly locking him up for trying to give freedom of speech. He called him a dictator. Fela Kuti, what's the father of Afrobeat's name, Joey? Do you know?
Fela Kuti, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's him, Fela Kuti. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly, whatever. His ass. So, yeah, he was always calling this corrupt ass puppet up. Nigeria's a basket case. Have anybody talking about the success of Nigeria? Either you are a moron or you are mentally retarded. Either one. Either you're a moron or you're mentally retarded.
Say it was corrupted because on this video it explains how there is lack of evidences of him being accused about corruption, and it also explains some of the things he tried to transform in Nigeria, like they're calling him Pan-Africanist. And I'm like, if you are truly a Pan-Africanist, bro, you'd be dead by now.
There's never been no Pan-Africanist in no damn Nigeria. That's a lie.
We'd be talking of you as an RIP, like, you know, the way we can
Exactly.
see our
Rest in peace. Exactly. There's never been no Pan-Africanists allowed to even smell power in Nigeria. Because Nigeria's too powerful of a population to ever allow there to be a real presence in that backward monstrosity of a country. You know, it's always rife with tribal strife put in by the Europeans, always divisions, always backward, fucked up. It must be no. That's why Nigerians are so criminal all over the planet, because the culture is so criminal.
Has Nigeria ever had a real coup? A real coup?
No. Not a coup that was going to benefit the people. No. The only person they had, my fault. They did have one Pan-Africanist. They killed his ass in 2010, 2011. Hillary Clinton drugged his ass and poisoned him. Okay. He just became. You look him up. Say what? Go to Google. Say what president died. What Nigerian president died in 2010 or 2011, something like that, just before Buhari. It's 2009. Now he wanted to really change the country around, but they killed his ass. That was one. My fault. That was one. So they poisoned his ass. See?
Umaru Musa.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. So Nigeria is a real threat.
So they say it was a Nigerian politician who served as a president from 2007 until 2010, because that must be after Olusegun. Then after him, and Buhari took over, because Buhari took over.
Yes, he died. Yeah, he died. And also, he didn't do his whole term, three years, because they murdered his ass. Nigeria cannot. Nigeria is such a power. If Nigeria was left alone, it would dominate the planet. And they know that.
As a company, and it does make a whole lot of sense.
It started as a company, yeah. All these African countries started as fake companies, yeah. But if it ever had somebody that could actually unite it and understand that the Nigerians, before they're this tribe and that tribe, and then nationalize all the resources to benefit them. White man is scared. My white man is scared to death of Nigeria. Nigeria is dangerous, because if Nigeria ever got its shit together, it'd be a world power, not just an African power. Nigeria would be a world power, and everybody knows that. So so Nigeria must be kept fucked up at all costs. Must be kept impoverished, backward, ignorant at all costs. So that's why Nigerians, even our Nigerians, doing so many crimes and shit, because they've been made lawless. The country's lawless. Because you got a Nigerian trying to teach you anything about any kind of government is laughable. Who's living is laughable. Because if he's going to be honest, he would know his country is completely controlled and infiltrated by crackers. He knows that. Whole country is destabilized and set up from its economic standpoint. That's why Kenya and all these countries import everything. Why don't you manufacture shit in Nigeria? You got the labor, got the manpower. Why haven't you done it? The white man told you better not do it. You better not take money. You better not take food or money out my goddamn mouth. If you do, it's gonna be war. And so all of them been scared ass puppets. Puppets come in, steal their little money. Country stays fucked up. They're all selected. That's why they said they decided to go, because first they set the system just the way Kenya did. It was a parliamentary system like the British. Then that didn't work, so they overthrew that shit, Then they use the American system, which is not a parliamentary system, but a congressional system. But the shit don't work either because it's corrupt. It's easily corruptible because you got people outside influences who come and dominate your politics, and they control your ballots. You know, you're always selected. That's why I sent you a video, Joe. I want you to play. I just sent you a video. I want you to play that video. Shout out to the
Okay,
Kenyans.
I'll share
Kenyans.
this one, the one I wanted to share for you guys to check out his legacy of lies.
Nobody want to check out. Nobody want to check out no old niggas' lies. Get out of here.
Check out. It's part of history, Kate. You learn. Because personally, I didn't know about. I didn't know about him. Being honest, I didn't know about Olusegun, Obasanjo until last year when I shared a video of him. He was talking about the waking up of youths, and it was regarding something that was very, very related at that particular time. So, you know, as much as we see him talking the truth, because there's so many old videos of him from 9 years ago, 7 years down the line, 5 years, 6 years of him warning African puppets.
You got no choice. You should know that you done did African people so wrong. African people have been exploited, Joby, for 500 years by this white man. So they came in contact, the exploitation, the criminal stealing of wealth. And African people living in slums and fucking poverty and misery. It only has so far it can go. And it's been on a level now in the 21st century that's absolutely insane. The theft, the graft, the gaslighting. It only had one place to go, a powder keg. It was going to erupt. I've been said it's going to erupt. You can't keep people down in poverty on purpose. When they're the wealth of the planet, everybody's getting rich off their backs. You got some moron in Kenya talking about, I'm going to send you to Saudi Arabia and other countries to work as slaves for other people who steal the wealth out of Africa. You're like, what? What? Out of your fucking mind? What are you talking about? I'm supposed to go be a slave in somebody else's country when they're stealing the wealth out of mine? What are you talking about? Sound crazy as cat. That kind of blatant, the leaders have become blatantly disrespectful to African people. Blatantly, like, yeah, we know you're stupid. You'll never wake up and catch what we're stealing and serving the white man. You don't even know. We got you. You love the white man, so you don't know he's the one stealing from your stupid asses. That's how blatant these African leaders, these puppets are. As Ibrahim Traoré said, blatant. The theft that got Ruto is blatantly disrespectful. 70 is blatant with his disrespect to African people. They're blatant with that wicked shit. They need a goddamn bullet in their head. It's blatant.
They do. Because I was saying yesterday, talking about how they feel they're prominent, and which I do say we didn't know better because we've given them that prominent position of making them feel like, hey, the excellency, your honor, the honorable, the Mr. President.
That's because the Africans as a people, just like you on Africans. Africans are people, you're respectful, loving, caring. That's your respect just as a people. That's your nature. That's why you always see that stupid shit. The leaders be all bad. His Excellency is honorable. What? Honorable what? This is an honorable shithead. Honorable what? Stealing, robbing, killing with an excellency of what? You know, so that's one of the reasons the king. Only reason why P.L.O. Lumumba said, "Yeah, we should call him his terribleness." Exactly, call somebody his excellency. And all these motherfuckers are fucking morons and crooks and fools.
It is insane. But this is the video.
Good evening, my lovely people. Let me give you some secrets.
Pauses. Let me say something. This is why Kenya would never be the same. It would never go back in the bottle. It never can, because this woman, the Kenyans know too much now. They know too much. You can't go back in. So you can only fool an ignorant population. Easy to govern the stupid. When your population have now woken up, now caught up to the scam, You can't continue to scam. Go ahead, Joe.
When the campaign period is happening in Kenya, you find politicians and their teams going to the UK in a place called Chatham House. There they go through interviews, but what you see in the media will be they're meeting the British government, taking care of the British interests. That's not the truth. That is where interviews are done and presidents are actually selected by the globalists. You'll find Raila did the same, Ruto did the same with his team. So once they pick who they've anointed to be the president of Kenya, everything along that channel is beaten to that direction. The IEBC get funding to achieve that goal. The Chief Justice, whoever, the military, everyone knows that's the direction we are going to take. And that is how Kenyan presidents are selected. There's the second person who comes in, and that's the second popular person, or the person who was not selected but is popular in the country. And most of the time, this person happens to be Raila Amolo Odinga.
The opposition.
Since he has a huge following, he commands a big population of the country. That person is supposed to be controlled. That's you'll always find him meeting the US ambassador. You'll always find him meeting the European Commission, ambassadors, all because they have to keep that person in check. Okay? Let me tell you guys, believe it or not, technically the last 3 or 4 elections that have been held in Kenya, as per vote, one man vote, Raila actually won the elections. He knows the elections were taken away from him because he has no power to ascend himself to the seat of the presidency because he was not anointed by the powers that be. But he also needs to be controlled. So what do? They keep him in check. They give him positions. Like right now, the globalists, who are very well represented by the US ambassador, the IMF, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, are the ones pushing for Raila to get the AU seat.
Exactly.
Because by him getting the AU seat, he will not meddle in the local politics of Kenya. Okay? I hope we're together up to there.
We are.
The AU itself is controlled by the globalists. Okay? I hope when I mention these names, you know what I mean. The introduction of the New World Order. So guys, don't believe anything you see out here. Don't believe anything you see out here. You see Raila coming out today and saying that he's supporting dialogue. Phone calls have been made to him. Otherwise, he's going to lose the AU seat. No one cares about Kenyans. No one cares about injustice. No one cares about corruption. No one cares about inefficiency. Guys, you have to wake up and fight for your country. Gen Z, wake up. The system is rigged against Kenyans.
Against Africans as a whole. That is true.
Against Africans.
Yeah, it is super, super crazy. Shout out to this young man here. He's been on an interview here. He's one among the people who are leading on demonstrations so bad. Shout out to Khalifa. And yep. Yeah, the system is rigged. We've been knowing that. Of course, not everyone knows. There are those who still believe your vote matters. Your vote counts. Change bullshit. Yeah. This is a time. This is gonna be tears and blood this time. Which we know, because right now we know. You come up with that nonsense that all the system, all the thumbs are missing. You're gonna produce them. This time is gonna be super, super crazy. You are not ready, and that is what you can see. These other fellow puppets of them, you're not ready. The old puppets who have been there, they're telling you right now. You can see that we saw, was it the Zimbabwe ex whoever? You remember the video you made me share sometime 2 years ago, who was telling and warning the youths when they're gonna wake up, It's not gonna be easy for you. I think it was Zimbabwe or Zambia where we had an ex-someone minister who was talking about the same
Yeah, it was
revolution.
I think it was Zambia. I think he was in Zambia. I think it was. I think it was
Yeah,
it Zambia. I can't remember what country. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what country
yeah.
it came from. He
It
said,
was
yeah,
between.
yeah, Zambia, Zimbabwe. One of them. He said, when the youth wake up, there's gonna be problems.
It's gonna be chaotic and they're not ready. But anyway, family, that's why we wrap it up with the conversation of the day. Asanteni sana for everyone who has been here with us. Revolution is coming, and it's
Man,
very,
I must have came in real late, huh?
yeah, yeah. The revolution is on and very active. Like what Olusegun has said, whatever is happening in East Africa is taking effect in the whole continent, because the rage is actually piling up every single day. Like I was reading the other quote the other day saying that they always want the narrative to fall, on their favor. But every hour we have people waking up. Every hour we have people getting informed and realizing who we're dealing with and what corruption is all about, who these leaders and how greedy they are. So thank you so
Yeah,
much to everyone
that's
in.
why I wanted you to play the last video I sent you, but I didn't know it was already over. You taking over my show. I want you to play the last video because the Kenyans know that, like I was telling Demore about how privatization happened, who stole money. That last video was like what, a minute long. Play the last video, Joby.
You
I
came in
I,
late.
I didn't know I came in late. I was waiting on you. Shit, I went back to sleep. You be, you I never know what time your ass is going live. Shit, your, your times are never like the same time.
So long as I'm live, that's what
Yeah,
matters.
yeah, yeah. This video here shows you how they're asking for that question. How'd you get rich? I told you, this guy's understand what I said. You ain't built no industry. You ain't invented shit. Where's this money come from? I told you, you can't get rich just by all these Kenyans are just rich. They ain't done. They ain't made shit.
It's
You ain't
the
got.
same question that is going round right now. We know the Kenya Revenue Authority collects 17 million in a day, and all this money goes to the state house. The question is, what is this money supposed? What can we account it for? That is the question. Does it pay debt? Is it creating any infrastructures? On whose pockets or hands is it going to? 17 million every single day to the state house.
Yeah,
And then you're asking us,
it's
heavy
stole.
shit
It's
there.
stolen. This guy's
Huh.
asking, you have manufactured shit. You ain't invented. That's what I've been saying. I know they've been listening to me. Listen, use my verbiage. You ain't manufactured shit. You ain't invent shit. You ain't created. Where's your wealth? How are you a billionaire?
You
How are
lie.
you a billionaire?
It's not a minute, this video. It is a whole 6 minutes. God damn
Oh,
it.
wow. 6 minutes. Wow, Joby. That's a long time out of your life. Six whole minutes. Get out of here.
Ndegwa family. You guys feel so highly about the Ndegwa family because they own NIC and NCBA. But if you look, their father.
This is that guy you made me share his video. You remember? The one who was, I don't know if you can remember him. That guy was calling out, there's a video you made me share of him. But yeah, shout out to Francis. He's an
I don't know.
amazing guy.
I don't know who the hell he is.
You've shared a couple of his videos right here
Well,
with me, but
I don't know what he looks like, Joey. All I hear is a voice. I don't know shit.
okay, it's okay. It's okay.
You get mad about 6 minutes, just play the video.
I'm not mad.
Ndegwa,
This ain't a minute. This a whole 6 minutes.
You said it's a minute though.
I was allowed to. I had to lie to make you play it.
That was formed in conjunction with the World Bank and the IMF, so that we can be part of these structural adjustment programs, conditionalities for us to access loans, so as to bridge the deficit that has been created by bad governance. So Philip Ndegwa becomes the chairman of the Privatization Commission. What does he first do? Anajichotea pesa zake. He first grabs a few companies. There was Nairobi Airport Services called NAS. There were many other companies which were which were grabbed during that period. But then you'll realize that the World Bank is hiding behind some of these government officials, and then they make it as if that, oh, we are selling these parastatals to clear our debt. But no, it is them who are grabbing. So during that period is when we saw the privatization of companies like Kenya Power.
Yeah.
If you look at Kenya Power, since it was privatized, has our power bills, have they been cheaper or more?
No, more expensive.
More expensive,
Exactly.
yeah.
Privatization
Well, you
was
never privatize your shit.
it was just a scam crafted
Exactly.
for a few elites like Mamangina to
I was trying to teach the mores.
Mamangina is the Kenyatas. He's talking about the Kenyatas.
Look at
okay.
During the same period, we had the Kenya Post and Telecommunications Corporation. Then, because of some mambo jumbo and magic over here, we were told it must be privatized. And so Safaricom was a department under the
Pause that. I told you the deal was always to privatize your shit so white people can get it by using black faces. When white people like the World Bank and IMF will own your shit, and then all your price will always go up. This is what I'm trying to teach Demore. He didn't understand it. He thinks these things will run badly. It's an accident. Privatizing be better. Hell no. It's how they steal your country, steal your wealth. Hell no. So idea that I come in and nationalize all that shit. Goes back to the Kenyan people. Go ahead, Joe.
Exactly, because actually if you privatize also, that is denial of job opportunities as well. There's gonna be a few, let's say, nepotism also taking action, being into place. Literally there's gonna be scarcity of jobs because you're taking a whole company into privatization. So come on.
Operation, you understand? And that's where we have these clowns like Gideon Moi owning Mobitelea, 5% of Safaricom, given for free under the guise that Vodafone is the one which is buying it. But Vodafone was giving 5% to Gideon Moi as a bribe because of acquiring Safaricom, which was a department of Kenya Post and Telecommunications Corporation. Look at something like Kenya Airways. We were told and we were fashioned. I remember I was reading the newspapers, I was very young, and they told us that privatization is a quick fix panacea, that because we are going to privatize, things are going to be better. Now, because the old generation of useless bastards, the boomers, if you're a boomer over here and you're there, you're a useless bastard. They bought.
I agree. Pause it. I told you, I've already said that. Beware these old ass niggas. You're stupid. Sit down and shut the fuck up. Joe used to get mad when I say that. I don't want to hear shit from no old nigga. Shut your fucking mouth. You used to get mad when I said that back in the day. You remember?
Used to. Let's use past tense.
Okay. All right, go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Right now. They 6 feet under. Come on.
Oh, we let's get the golden handshake, and being stupid as they are, and even today they are still very stupid. They signed themselves up for a suicide. And so Kenya Airways, which was a fully state-owned corporation, has changed hands. It was sold first to KLM, and then there was this partnership between KLM. And then what they did is now, when they got to now the worst part, which was during the Uhuru era, they started selling our primest landing spots. For instance, Kenya Airways used to land in London at 6:10 a.m. There was a flight leaving Nairobi to London at 6:10. They sold that. They sold that to some, I don't know whether it's Bahrain or one of those companies or one of those countries. They sold that slot.
You know, it's crazy. I saw another African say, was it? I don't know. It was someone saying, they were really perplexed. I think it was a Ghanaian or a Nigerian. I can't believe Kenya owns all these planes, all these airports. Our country is so backwards. Kenya owns all these KQ planes. And I was like, God damn, I wish you knew the facts of what you're talking about. You know, I wish you really knew that we don't own anything from the beginning.
But you did used to own some things. They came and stole it through privatization. You had some ownership.
We know the airport keeps. Remember, even me doing a show.
The whole airport is not yours, but the airline was yours. The airport wasn't, but the airline was.
Yeah.
You know, the airport was not. Kenyatta Airport was not. That was the British controlling on that. But you did own the airline. The government did own that. You know, and you allowed the damn white people to steal it back. That's what he's talking about.
To bridge the deficit about debt that we don't know how it was incurred. We don't know how Kenya Airways got broke.
Yeah.
We don't know how Kenya Airways got into debt, but somehow we have, because that is, your landing slot is almost like a sovereign parcel of land. You sell it, you concede it to another country to bridge problems that you yourselves have created. And so when we are talking about auditing debt, Jimmy Wanjigi is talking about odious debt. If we are talking about it, we are not just limiting ourselves to the debt. We are looking at the atrocities committed at the turn of the 80s to the 90s, where now that character, that clown called Philip Ndegwa, who was a central bank governor, who you guys are shamelessly praising today because they are rich, because you guys, your self-esteem has been suppressed. You are praising that clown, saying that they are rich, but they themselves stole their wealth is accrued. I used to read articles that Philip Ndegwa is rich. He was the first Kenyan to bank 1 billion. How are you banking 1 fucking billion? You have no manufacturing company. You're not a farmer of repute. You're not an innovator or inventor.
Pause that. That's why I know they listen. That's like I told you. You haven't manufactured shit. You haven't invented shit. You haven't having a big agriculture. So where have you got $1 billion from? Explain your money. Explain your wealth. God damn it. Stolen. Go ahead, Joe.
Where did you get that fucking money? Anytime we confront.
I love Francis because he's always brutal. He doesn't care who gets mad. He's a kid in Kenya. You know?
I love it.
The ruling elite.
Get that fucking money.
Tell us how you acquired this money. Because there was a time they used to flaunt their money. They used to flaunt these stories. Oh, I used to read those silly, nonsensical stories by somebody like Jenga Karume. Jenga Karume says, I used to sell charcoal. Who the fuck would believe that charcoal would make you a billionaire? Not unless you're exporting that charcoal to Mars or to Jupiter as an alternative energy source. But he
said, unless you export that charcoal to Mars or Jupiter. Exactly right. Just like the same story about the Ruta. I was selling sausages, or how the fuck that shit's called, kidding the goddamn sitting sausages on the road bullshit. Whatever that shit's called. It's all lies. Go ahead, Joe.
Pushed by the mainstream media, shameless journalists, shameless editors who have you just run with any rubbish. You don't want to question how this person acquired this wealth. They were in government. They used to do X, Y, and Z, and somehow they landed into a lot of money. And because there were no checks and balances, suddenly they're billionaires and they're being praised.
Exactly. They were in government and they were stealing and shit. Corrupt ass church. Exactly.
But this is the historical injustices that we have, especially from the economic front. It has to be all the companies that were grabbed by people hiding behind the narrative of privatization. The people who hid behind the narrative of a golden handshake. People were told, hey, you take a golden handshake, you'll go home. And by the time those guys were taking a golden handshake and leaving state-owned corporations.
Exactly right, Gibber. That's why I love this guy. When I said to Joe, we told the truth. This fucking telling the damn truth, honest, brutal. So he talking about you a millionaire. You ain't built shit. You ain't manufactured shit. You ain't invent shit. Damn sure ain't got no agriculture. How you been there? See, now the Kenyans now are waking up. These motherfuckers ain't no billionaires. They all stolen money. It's all graft and grift.
It's God. Come on. God elevates you from smoky seller to a
smoky. That shit called the Smokies. That shit got
to 1 billion in the account,
I saw Smokies on the road. Motherfucker, you insane. That's why I'm so smoky.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Jibajaba Karibu Sana. Sister Michelle, hope you're doing amazing.
Smokies on the road.
Right, a private corporation only duty is to make a profit for shareholders by higher end prices and employment cuts. And also see Kijus Williams says that the same thing is going on in Ethiopia. The government is taking people property for the development of the world. This corruption of them is all over Africa. I think that's what you meant. Yeah. And Jebazeb also says Obama was a community organizer. Lie. Today he is a multimillionaire. And,
remember, but Obama always was a multi-millionaire because he's a poor half Kenyan. This is the story they gave you. Obama's a poor half Kenyan, the product of a Kenyan father who abandoned him and a white mother, and he grew up poor. And you go back, what? This motherfucker grew up. This motherfucker grew up in one of the richest goddamn areas of Hawaii, in the richest schools in Hawaii. The motherfucker was already rich. His real dad, that Solo Sotoro, one of the richest men in Indonesia. Obama never had a job. He was peddling on the streets of Chicago. Like, what? He asked people in Chicago, did you guys ever see Obama? No Obama? Said, we never even seen this motherfucker in no Chicago. But they had to attach him to a black area. Chicago, one of the biggest black areas. So they either got attached to Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles, or Atlanta. So they attached him to Chicago. They said, hey, anybody knew this Obama motherfucker? I said, nah, we never even heard of fucking Obama. We never even seen his ass. His whole story is a fraud. This fucking now Obama's one of the richest motherfuckers on the planet again. From being, like you said, a community organ. He was an activist. Now he's activism with millions of dollars, has a house, has big mansions in Hawaii, has a big mansion in Washington, D.C., and another big mansion in what's that, Martha's Vineyard over in Massachusetts. What kind of activism has he done? The millionaire two-step?
Big Mike.
Hey, they asked Big Mike if she gonna run for president because they trying to throw Biden. They asked Big Mike if he gonna try to run for president because they threw they trying to get rid of Biden because that damn debate he had, we looked crazy as cats, shitting on himself. So, it's not going to work,
If you're allowed Transformer now to become a president, America is gone. That is so gone.
It's already been gone. It doesn't matter what he don't control shit. Same people.
Vote for Michelle Obama. You using some crack out of this world, man. What? I mean, not everyone believes that he is who he is, but come on. He is who he is, not she who he is. He is who he is. So you can't accept all that. The fact that first number one is a lie. They're lying about his gender, not her gender. Because you can't accept
a lot of people don't know. Even though I see the proof of a man, of Obama, a Big Mike's dick hanging all in interviews. Say, what's that? They tell you not to see you on it. That's a dick. He's out there dancing he danced on TV with his dick flopping. That's a dick. And then when you see him as a man, when he was a man, that's him. That's him. His name is Michael Robinson. That's him. He's a man. They ask you not to pretend you don't know that Michelle was a man. They tell me go around. They tell me to around every.
What says you're a liar?
Who said that?
You are told you're a liar.
Irritated, no, that's a man. Irritated, no, that's a man. He's in a bubble again. You in a bubble. Joby, do me a favor real quick. Airtime's there.
No, now.
I know. No, Airtime's got to get this work, Joby.
No, now, please. No, now.
That's a man. Airtime. Michelle is a man. That's not a woman. That's a man.
That's the topic of tomorrow. You have a topic. Discuss Michelle Obama tomorrow.
That's a man. That's why Obama always fucks up and says, my Michael. He always fucks that up. My Michelle, my Michael.
He said send the evidence. If he doesn't believe you.
But you can just get the pictures. Show the pictures of Michelle before she was a man. Okay, here, I want you to do this today and tomorrow. I want you to find me childhood pictures of Michelle Obama growing up in Chicago. Show me her pictures as a child and in school. So her being the first black first lady, that should be easy to do. Find me a picture of her as a child, and find me a picture as a teenager. Find me those pictures of Michelle Obama as a child. I'm about to fuck your mind. I'm about to fuck your mind up.
She must be with girls in school.
Yeah, with girls or whatever. Find a picture of her as a child, as a girl.
Maybe she didn't share the photos.
There's no leader out here without childhood photos.
Are you out of your mind? They take. Let me tell you something, Irton. In America, we take photos every year. That's a law. We got every year. Anybody in America in the chat room tell you we gotta take school photos every year, just for the yearbook, and just for photos to go home. So that dog don't hunt, Irton. This ain't Africa, goddammit. We take pictures every year, Irton. So, and then I want you to look up. Then I want you to take this name, Irton. I don't know if don't use Google. Go to another. Try to use DuckDuckGo when you go on your search. And I want you to look for pictures for Michael Robinson from Chicago. Just look up those pictures. There's gonna be a bunch of people. A lot of people named Michael Robinson, but you'll see Michelle Obama's face. You'll be like, oh, okay, this motherfucker kind of like Michelle Obama. You almost hit the nail on the head. Okay? You about to get your mind fucked up because you've been living in a bubble. That's a dude. You see that? You know the Obama kids? Those are not their children. That's why they want to change their names back to their real names. The scam is up. They don't want their names to be Obama no more. They want to change their names back to their real parents' names. Now, if I show you the parents, you're going to know that those are their children because they look just like their parents. They don't look like no fucking Obamas. They look just like their real parents.
Yeah. No, they look like not Obama, their dad, the original dad.
Their real dad. They look like their real dad and their real mother.
Obama. Malia looks like Michelle.
So if you see the picture of the real parents, now you're gonna see no Obama there. Just see the father and the child.
Exactly. They look real like they look just like the real. They are. This is CIA op. I told you about CIA ops, psyops. Those parents were friends of the Obamas. Were not really friends, but kept close so they can give them their kids. And say that. That's why you never see, and you're never gonna see no pictures of Michelle pregnant. Every pregnant woman takes pictures of themselves. Because they love when they're pregnant, they want to show themselves being pregnant. Irriton. That's a memory they don't ever want to forget. It's a picture of me when I was pregnant with you, such and such. When I was pregnant with you, such and such. That's what they do.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Much love. Catch up with you tomorrow.
That's a dude.
Big Mike.
That's Big Mike. I don't care if you get mad, Zenobia. Tell me, don't believe Keith. I'm messing with her head. Yeah, she about to get that work. That's all right. That's Big Mike, Zenobia. Big Mike with the big dick.
Yeah, so much love, family. See you guys. I Zenobia. You came in late, but catch the show on a replay.
You know, okay? I didn't want to believe it either. I want to believe it either, Zenobia.
Have an amazing day.
Joby, you ain't hungry. Wait, give me a minute.
My time is up.
Joby, wait, Joby, Zenobia. I didn't want to believe it. I had to do the research. I didn't want to believe. I said, listen here. Go back and check the mother. I told you, the mother, when Big Mike's mom died, on her death certificate giving him her inheritance, she had to put the real name. She put Michael Robinson. That's why you see pictures of him with that Mike Robinson. That's Michelle. I'm sorry. Then Zenobia, go find me. One thing you can do, you know this in America. You're in America. You know you got kids. You got pictures of you as a child, Zenobia. Find me a Michelle Obama kid picture. Just one. Shut me up then. Prove me wrong. Find me one Michelle Obama child picture. That's what I want you to do.
Yeah. But you and Zenobia will start being back and forth right here. So save y'all's time. Have an amazing day.
What white woman? I'm not throwing no white woman under the bus. What white woman? I'm not throwing no white woman. What white woman you talking about?
You said stop throwing black women under the bus. You never.
What women? That's a dude. That's a dude. I'm gonna throw you in the bus. That's a man. You talking about, I can't throw a man under the bus. He's not a woman. That's a man. That's a man with a big dick and a wig. That's a man.
Much love, family. See you guys. Mabadai. Catch us on the Black Kings frequency. Come back on the BHFN countdown.
Exactly right, Jibba Jabba. You didn't want to believe it. But like, I start believing because Judge Joe Brown said, Keith, start looking at shit. You know you're an investigator. I had to start looking at it. That's a dude.
Much love, family. I'm Tamaliza side.
Yes, right. It's swinging our faces. She go to shows and a dick be hanging out. Come on, man. That's a dick. I know when a woman ain't got no dick. How you dancing on a TV show?